Hello guys, welcome to the daily analysis. It is Monday, August 20th, and we're going to go over some of the major pairs today and kind of talk about what's going on in the market. First things first, we'll just hit this news real quick. There's not much going on tomorrow, but one thing to note is 4:30 a.m. pound news. So any pound trades that you might have going on, pay special attention to that 4:30 a.m. news. A lot of times, when there's only one major news event in a day, it probably accounts for more movement than a normal news announcement because it's the only event. So that could definitely create some significant movement in the market, and you want to pay attention to that, especially, of course, if you have a pound trade involved. Okay, so that's mainly the news. Obviously, there's some other minor news there, but nothing that I'm really worried about making too much, movement in the market. All right, let's cover our terms quickly here. Again, legal purposes, you have to understand that we're not licensed or qualified for investment advice. This is purely educational, purely our opinions, and nothing that we would be held responsible for if you take trades based on our information. Okay. All right, let's jump into the analysis. First thing we have is the euro dollar, and as we have noted for quite some time, we are still in this triangle, and it is very tight now. Obviously, I've been expecting a breakout for quite some time, and we still haven't got anything that's very significant. So just gotta continue to be patient. We could see a breakout, a retest, and continuation to the downside, or the same thing towards the upside. Or we could see continuation of a sideways market and not actually get any breakout at all, which would be somewhat unfortunate, especially considering how long this has tightened up. We'd expect to see a power breakout to one side or the other, and that is still what I'm anticipating, but it's just one of those things that you've got to be extremely patient about and wait for. Now notice that we are still in somewhat of a support and resistance level, so there's a level here that it's still trying to chop around at and make up its mind. My opinion is that once it does make up its mind, it will explode with some serious momentum and intensity, and I would certainly like to be on board when that does happen. All right, let's go ahead and look at the pound dollar. All right, so the pound dollar is a similar triangle pattern. However, obviously, it is not as tight as the euro dollar in its consolidation period. So definitely have some room for it to bounce back and forth for a while longer before it really tightened up like the euro dollar. However, if the euro dollar breaks out, it's a high likelihood that the pound dollar will break out as well, even though it's not as tight because those pairs obviously tend to follow suit to a decent extent with one another. So that would be the expectation for me. If euro dollar breaks out to the up, then you'd probably expect pound dollar to do the same or to the down. So keep your eye on euro dollar and then see if pound dollar does in fact mirror what happens with the euro dollar. So that's definitely what I would be expecting with pound dollar. Until that happens, though, look for this bouncing to continue. And if you're a small intraday trader, there's definitely some profit to be made on these bounces. Okay, the U.S. yen. The U.S. yen was sitting on major support here, and you can see that since it broke out, it's been screaming to the upside. We have our first bearish candle, and it's at a pretty major level here, so that's definitely something to keep an eye on. Let me draw a horizontal line here to give you the exact level that we're at, and you can see that it's definitely a pretty decent level. So it's in the middle of this consolidation. It's at these tails. It's at these tails. So this is a major level that's pushing to the downside. Now, whether that's going to hold up and actually follow through back into this zone, I don't really know, obviously. But it does seem like a good place for price action to turn around and head back to the downside. A lot of times, though, what will happen with this is we have a strong upward rally. People are starting to jump in long because they see the momentum, they see the trend, and the market doesn't want people to be heading in the right direction, so it'll throw out a candle like this so people will jump on short, and then it'll reverse right back up. So that's not what you want to happen if you're going to be short on this. However, we do see a good signal, so that's something that is obviously up to your trading plan, how you look at the market. I like to trade because there's some downward momentum already. And I think that this, could be just a retrace in a long-term step downward. However, like I said, it could just be a trap candle that's going to get people in short just so it can break new highs. And that's something that you always have to be careful about when trading. All right, let's look at the odd dollar. Now, the odd dollar, of course, has broken our level and headed down below the bottom trend line, which we noted last week. One thing I said is that I don't expect a takeoff to the downside, just because I still believe in the odd strength overall. But what we're going to do is wait on this and see if this level is tested and continued or broken right back up through to the upside. Now, if it breaks back into this channel here, you'd expect it to probably come right back up at the top. However, if we see a test of this level and then a continuation to the downside, we could actually get a long-term short opportunity on the odd dollar, which is a very feasible possibility. That's what the market does. So the other thing to note is that we are in a level here that has shown some resistance in the past. So keep that in mind as you trade the odd dollar as well. New Zealand dollar is somewhat similar. However, it's in more of a channel than a trend. The odd dollar is more consistently up than the New Zealand dollar, even though the New Zealand dollar has shown a lot of upward movement in recent history. Notice that the New Zealand dollar peaked and headed downward much earlier than the odd dollar did, and now we're kind of chopping sideways. So based on this, you would expect probably a bounce back to the top of this channel and headed towards this range, at least to where it's previously bounced. And right now it's chopping, but if you do get a bullish candle, there's a high probability chance that it's going to at least head up to this previous high in the middle of this channel. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on, a New Zealand dollar. And the fact that I'm a little more bullish on this New Zealand dollar bounce makes me believe that odd dollar is actually more bullish as well, because those pairs correlate so closely. So that's definitely something to think about as well. Euro pound is one that has bounced around lately and has not actually made up a direction since this little sideways movement started here. Obviously, I had a lot of short sentiment with euro pound just because of the big trend that we're at, and also this bounce that I got short on a long time ago. Whether that's going to make its next step downward or break back through here is yet to be seen. First, it has to just break through this little sideways pattern that it's in now. And so my encouragement there would just be to, again, wait. Draw your zone there and wait to see if it's broken. Let's take a look at pound yen. Pound yen is one that has, again, broken our level and headed upward. But just like the U.S. yen, we're starting to get a little bit of tailing action. Not a very good candle overall, because pound's a little stronger than dollar today. But still, we do see a little bit of a topping action, maybe suggesting that it's going to turn and head back down, though I would not consider this any type of great signal. So that's kind of hanging there, and that's one that I would probably wait and see how that reacts tomorrow as well. Also keep in mind that we have 4:30 a.m. pound news, so that could affect it. Pound New Zealand is another one that's just in this little sideways movement. As you can see, there's a lot of pairs that are doing this, and which means that when they break out, a lot of pairs will be breaking out at the same time, and there will be some exciting trade opportunities if you can hold on and just wait till that happens. Until then, we just got to sit here and watch this boring sideways movement, which is no fun, but it's definitely something that could lead to good trade opportunities in the future, and that's just kind of what you got to keep in mind. All right, guys, I think that's my last pair to cover today. Hopefully, you have a good idea of what pairs you should be waiting on. There's a lot of them, and when they do break out or make their next move, just be ready to jump on them and take advantage. All right, guys, talk to you later. Good luck trading.